Hey, Engelbert,
What?
there's chocolate all over this ball.
Look, Mr. Buttermaker, quit bugging me about my food. People are always bugging me about it. My shrink says that's why I'm so fat. So you're not doing me any good, so just quit it.
Okay. Greetings, America, Canada, and remote parts of Cameroon, and welcome to the Suicide Squeeze Baseball Show here on the Fireball Review channel. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have been running down the 10 greatest baseball movies of all time. Number 10 was Bull Durham. Number 9 was Angels in the Outfield. Number 8 was Field of Dreams. Number 7 was A League of Their Own. Number 6 was Mr. Baseball. Number 5 was The Rookie. Please don't ask me to repeat that again because I have a little brain. I went to public school. I have a horrible memory, and I have a horrible headache. But we are about to unveil the number 4 selection, so let's go.
4!
Picture it. The year is 1976. Jimmy Carter has just been elected the 39th President of the United States, and NASA has unveiled the first ever space shuttle. It is called the Enterprise. It has nothing to do with Star Trek or the rent-a-car company, as far as I know. Tech geeks are springing up all over Silicon Valley. One of these dudes opens up an electronics company out of his garage. You might have heard of this guy. His name was Steve Jobs. You've probably heard of his company. It was called Apple Computers. And in the baseball world, the Big Red Machine continued its dominance throughout Major League Baseball in the 1970s, sweeping the New York Yankees in the World Series that year. And former minor league pitcher Morris Buttermaker rose out of the ashes to guide a group full of misfit Little Leaguers to Little League immortality in the 4th greatest baseball movie of all time, and is the Bad News Bears. Now, due to fiscal deficiencies, shall we say, Buttermaker is coerced into coaching the Bears, and these kids are pretty much the reject children of America. These are all the players that all the crazy, insane, psychopathic Little League parent / coaching types don't want on their team. But as you know, in Little League, everyone gets the opportunity to play, so the Bears are created. Morris is installed as the coach, and for most managers, this would be somewhat of a tremendous problem, because who the hell wants to manage a group of Poindexter kids who don't know a hockey puck from a baseball? But this is not a problem for Buttermaker at all, because this dude is completely drunk through the first 30 minutes of the movie anyway. Now, I think the two most humorous aspects of Bad News Bears is the way the Little League parent is depicted in this film. Little League parents, for whatever reason, tend to think their little angels are all the next Derek Jeter. Not every kid can be the next Derek Jeter, and in this film, the kids are behaving badly, but the parents are behaving even worse. And it's true on YouTube. Look at any home movie of a parent reacting badly to a situation that's going on in the field, in the stands. It is not always a pretty sight. You could put a fence around a lot of sections of the crowd at Little League games. You could call it an insane asylum. Nobody would know the difference. These people are completely nuts a lot of the time. And it really shows that aspect of the Little League experience in this film. It is quite humorous and a little scary at the same time.
Get back to the stands before I shave off half your mustache and shove it up your left nostril.
Now, in the age of participation trophies and the canceling of that fiend Mr. Potato Head, there is not a snowball's chance in hell of Bad News Bears, the 76 version, being greenlit by Hollywood today. And if it was, the pseudo-intellectual analysts and critics that analyze movies and review movies, I think their heads would just completely explode upon viewing. I mean, you got a Little League coach who's cruising around his caddy with the entire team packed in there like sardines. I'm sure there's some sort of child endangerment law being violated here by today's standards. They're hanging off the car. He's got a used bottle of Jack Daniels on the ground. He's drinking during the games in the dugout on the field. He's passed out. I'm sure Buttermaker would be violating numerous child labor laws by today's standards because he's got half his team helping him clean pools. The other half are mixing him margaritas while he's lounging by the pool, telling them all these grandiose stories about his days in the minor leagues and how he once struck out Ted Williams. I mean, there is not any group of people that at some point is not immune to a good ribbing in this film. I mean, they attack religion, race, sex, whatever else. It just runs the gamut. But it sort of works because at the end of the movie, all these different groups of people sort of come together in this epic crescendo moment where they face off against the big baddies in the movie. And of course, the antagonists in this movie have to be the Yankees because that's sort of the rule in baseball movies, it seems like. The Yankees always have to be the bad guys. It's lonely at the top, right, Yankee fans?
Hey, Yankees, you can take your apology out of your trophy and shove it straight up.
But this iteration of the Yankees attack the Bears both on and off the field. They play them in the opening game. The Yankees absolutely trounce the Bears. They humiliate them. They mercy them. Buttermaker is beside himself. He is very distraught over the loss. He finally comes to the realization that he needs to start taking his coaching responsibilities a bit more seriously. The Bears respond to his message. They begin to come together despite their differences. It's a beautiful situation. They start to win, and they square off again with the Yankees in the championship game. So if you haven't seen Bad News Bears, you don't want any spoilers, I'm just going to warn you right now, you might want to turn this video off for about 30 seconds and then come back or turn the sound down, whatever you prefer. Go listen to some Celine Dion or go do some rhythmic gymnastic moves for about 30 seconds. Because I got to tell you something, the Bears lose the championship game. And this is sort of a little bit controversial. I mentioned this in A League of Their Own. It's always a little bit of a touchy thing when sort of the protagonists lose at the end of a movie. I think it sort of works a little bit better in this movie than it did in A League of Their Own. You know, in life, I think kids especially need to learn that sometimes in life you're going to lose. And that's why I'm sort of against the whole participation trophy type of thing. When you get off into the real world, you're not going to get any participation trophies. So it's good to learn how to lose. As long as you learn from your mistakes and you move on, you become a better person, that can become a good thing, and I think that's a good message. And whether you agree with me that the world in 2021 has gotten a little bit too politically correct, or you disagree with me, you got to admit there's a lot of heartwarming moments in this movie. There's one moment with Buttermaker and one of the kids who's probably the worst player on the team where he's trying to convince him to go into the game, in the championship game, and it pulls at the heartstrings, I got to tell you.
Listen, Lupus, you didn't come into this life just to sit around on a dugout bench, did you? Or get your ass out there and do the best you can.
Now again, folks, we are into the top 5 of the greatest baseball movies of all time, so there are no duds at this point in time in the list. Bad News Bears, the 1976 edition, is 10 flaming Filet-O-Fishes out of a possible 10. Now for some fun facts about Bad News Bears. Tatum O'Neal is the actress that plays Amanda, the Vaseline ball-throwing pitcher in the film for the Bears. She went on later in life to marry tennis superstar John McEnroe.
Cannot be serious!
Now, the Bad News Bears had 2 sequels. The first was Breaking Training. The second was Bad News Bears Go to Japan. They were both sort of average movies. Breaking Training, for whatever reason, if there's any other MLB Network watchers out there besides me, you will know that Breaking Training, the second Bad News Bears movie, it feels like it's on MLB Network every other day during the offseason. I don't know why this is. I think MLB just is maybe being cheap and they don't want to pay for the rights for the original film. It is very bizarre, but it is on all the time. It is one of the craziest things ever. They also did a remake of the original film back in 2005 with Billy Bob Thornton. I generally hate remakes. The remake was not as good as the original, but it was a decent movie. Billy Bob Thornton did a pretty good job as Buttermaker. Obviously, Walter Matthau will always be Buttermaker. He is absolutely outstanding in the 76 version. But now I want to hear from you guys. Have you seen the Bad News Bears? Do you like the movie? Do you hate the movie? Let me know down below. And would you, if I'm putting you in charge of the world, you are the supreme leader of the planet Earth, would you ban participation trophies? Are you yay or nay? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, hit that dislike button if you like this video. Otherwise, see you next time with the number 3 greatest baseball movie of all time. Toodles!